In this video I talk about cat epilepsy. My Siamese cat Otani has epilepsy since he's 6 years old. Now he is almost 9 years old. His first seizure he had in January 2016. That day we had a walk in nature and were on the way home with a bike. He and his sister were sitting in the bike basket. On that walk they ate grass, and it's quite common for them after eating grass to throw it up at some point. So that's what he did in the bike basket. Right after doing that, he became very stiff and still, and he lifted his head up more and more, very slowly and strange, like he wasn't doing it himself, but like somebody else was pulling his head back. And he was staring, but not at something particular, but like into the nothing, like he wasn't conscious. So I stopped the bike immediately and called his name, and he didn't react at all. Then I leaned closer to him, and even though I was right in front of him, he seemed like he wasn't seeing me at all. So I called his name the second time, but he didn't react again. I didn't know what else to do, so I simply poked him with my finger, and he woke up. He looked very confused and kind of scared, like he was surprised seeing me that close, and suddenly sitting in the bike basket and outdoors, like he had forgotten where he was 2 seconds ago. Then I just tried to get home as quickly as possible. The rest of the ride he was very quiet. At home he behaved like nothing happened. But I still did some research. I looked into how humans deal with this kind of illness, how they feel before, during and after a seizure. I read that they feel when an epileptic fit is coming right a little moment before, and that they have a trigger or triggers, and that can be for each person very different. A certain smell, sound, light, situation or action can lead to an epileptic fit. Otani had more epileptic fits after that, and his trigger became very clear. He only got a seizure after throwing up, so that was his trigger. To find out the trigger of your cat and not to forget anything important, it is the best to write down each incident in detail. For example, I always write down the date, time, exact location, for example which room it was, what the cat was doing right before that, and how bad it was. Like, was it a small seizure, a medium one, or a grand mal? A grand mal is a full-blown seizure. And I always write down how long it took for Otani to recuperate after that. Till this day, Otani had 6 epileptic fits. 1 was small, 3 were medium, and 2 were grand mals. I categorized his first seizure as small because it was so easy to wake him up from that. With his 3 medium ones and his 2 grand mals, that was another story. When he had his medium seizures, he had the same symptoms like in his first one. He was stiff and staring and nothing else. When he had his grand mal seizures, he was stiff and staring too, but after that he fell to the side and started shaking and moving his legs and head around quite frantically. When he had his medium or small seizures, he needed around 5 minutes to recuperate. When he had his grand mals, it took around 10 to 15 minutes. Otani is quite lucky to have that kind of unique trigger, since he only has a seizure after throwing up, and he only throws up after eating grass or occasionally in the morning before breakfast when he wants to get out furball. I'm always there when he has a seizure. Now I explain how I stop or prevent a seizure. Since I know his trigger, I immediately go over to him when he shows symptoms that he wants to throw up. I immediately start to massage his neck quite strongly, even though he has no symptoms of a seizure yet. With this method, he may get still a little bit stiff, but he won't stare and he stays fully conscious. It also stops the escalation to a grand mal. It is a very small time frame where you have a chance to prevent a seizure. This is only just a few seconds. So in my experience, the sooner the method is applied, the quicker it will show effect. For aftercare, after the seizure is over, I recommend a good massage to loosen the tense muscles. That helps the cat to recuperate faster. Due to my own experiences and all the research I've done, there are certain things that don't help at all when a cat has epileptic fit. For example, talking to the cat or just sitting or standing right beside it. The cat does not hear or see you. I have seen so many videos about a dog or cat owner standing and talking to their seizuring animal, and it showed absolutely no effect. The cat or dog was still in seizure for minutes and minutes and struggling, and it didn't fade away at all. So that does not work, it seems. The idea of my method comes from a dog owner. She does a quite similar method. She has a big dog who has epilepsy, and every time he has that, she gives him a very big firm hug. And she's talking to the dog at the same time. My guess is that the talking doesn't do anything, but it's the firm touch or hug that brings the results. Since hugging a cat which has epileptic fit is most likely not the best idea, because you might get scratched up or bit severely, I think the neck massage is the best option for cat owners. You just need to be careful to sit behind the cat, that it's laying on the side and the back is turned to you, so she can't turn around that easily and bite or scratch you. My cat never tried that, so I never had problems with that. And even if he would scratch or bite me every time, I wouldn't care. He doesn't know what he's doing anyway, and I rather take the pain than just stand and watch him struggle like that and do nothing. But every cat owner needs to decide for themselves if they want to take the risk to get injured or not. In my experience, the method seems to have another nice effect too. I've noticed when I was able to apply the method very early, like prevent a seizure or applying the method right in the beginning of the seizure, the next epileptic fit came quite late, like months and months of nothing. When I was late applying the method, the next epileptic fit came quite earlier. Especially when I could prevent a seizure by applying the method before any symptoms were shown, the trigger itself seems to be getting weaker. He had a lot of occasions where he had to throw up, but it didn't cause a seizure. His last seizure was more than 8 months ago. I could always feel the difference between when a seizure was coming and I actually was preventing a seizure, or there was no seizures coming at all and I actually wasn't doing anything. So when he was planning to have a seizure, he still got stiff for a second. There was like a stopping moment, but when there was nothing coming anyway, then well, everything was normal. My cat doesn't take medication for epilepsy, and he never did. I decided that because his epileptic fits are rare anyway, and my method works so well for him. Medication has always negative side effects and may cause other illnesses, but if your cat has often epileptic fits, it may be better for the cat to still take the medicine. For my cat Otani, his life didn't change too much. He still does the same things. We still go on walks every second day with his sister together. He plays. So the illness didn't take away the quality of his life. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment and I'll try to help.